This is Spring Hunter with the Conway Ministry Center, and we are here bringing you the final wrap-up from the winter warming station this year. We are officially, as of today, we're 2 days out from closing that down, and I've done the facts and figures and just kind of wanted to bring you a final report on what you guys accomplished this winter in the matter of 9 weeks. So over 9 weeks, we had more than 450 volunteers that showed up to serve and cook and clean and transport. Those 450 volunteers were primarily from 11 churches that just radically came around this winter warming station and served. And so I wanted to just kind of show you in numbers what the fruit of that labor was. So there were 165 unique homeless guests that stayed on this property in 9 weeks. A little more than a third of those were female. I told you that we did have more families this year. We had a total of 7 kids that stayed with us, and honestly, of the 9 weeks, I think 6 weeks of that we had children on the property, and sometimes we had multiple families on the property. So those people were just as unique as you can imagine, all different races and ethnicities and backgrounds. We had people with some pretty severe disabilities this year, from mental disabilities to physical disabilities. For 7 weeks, we had a completely blind woman that stayed with us that had a pretty high level of care needs. And so just all over the board as far as those 165 people represented there. And so just shy of 40% of those people engaged in some kind of active case management. That was our goal this year, was to get as many of our overnight guests into the office and engaged in some kind of case management to come up with a plan during the 9 weeks that they stayed with us. And so we were able to get about 40% of those people pretty actively engaged. And so that just included just all kinds of services. Several of those did move on to permanent housing or are about to move on to permanent housing in the next few days. We did a whole lot of medical related case management this year, from doctors to getting medication straightened out to just trying to get people connected with the medical care or mental health care that they needed while they were here. We did bus tickets, counseling. We had a couple of ladies that moved on to some of our domestic violence shelters, employment services, all kinds of vital records, IDs, birth certificates, Social Security cards. We worked pretty heavily with the Social Security Administration the whole time, working on correcting different things for folks to be able to have their income straightened out. We purchased work tools for people to start new jobs. We had 3 people that moved on to long-term rehab programs. And of course, we had some folks that were on the waiting list for Bethlehem House, that while they were here and had a temporary place to stay, their name came up and they were admitted into the Bethlehem House. And then we had some that went on to veterans rehabilitation programs. So the success list goes on and on and on, and it's you who did it. We have a staff of 5 people, and we picked up an extra overnight manager, and every bit of this happened because you guys were willing to step out in faith and go to places that were uncomfortable or places that were unfamiliar to you and serve this population. And so on behalf of them and on behalf of the Conway Ministry Center, we just say thank you for loving and serving and stretching and being a part of this thing. And so God bless. We'll talk to you soon.